I'm Philip Quinn, the football correspondent for the Irish Daily Mail. I'm joined here by Pat Fenlon. Among his many honours as a distinguished footballer, as a player and manager, was as a FAI Cup winner, both as player and manager, Pat, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
We're here to talk about the Irish Daily Mail FAI Cup semi-finals. It's 4 teams, 2 semi-finals this weekend and 1 goal at the Aviva Stadium on November the 6th. As a player and as a manager, Pat, before we actually went to the 2 ties, as a player and a manager, did you play the game or play the occasion?
I think when you're maybe younger, it's the occasion can get you. I think semi-finals, I've lost a few semi-finals, won a few obviously as well, but they're probably worse, for me they were worse than losing a final, because when you get to the final you're there, at least you're in a cup final, like you say, lovely new stadium and something to look forward to. When you lose that semi-final, you're losing the game, you're losing the chance to win a cup medal, you're losing the occasion, so it can be difficult to deal with, and it is like you say, it's that game that you don't want to lose, but I think the older you get, the more experienced players, a lot of players that are playing the 2 games on Sunday have plenty of experience of playing in cup semi-finals and cup finals, so you would expect most of them to be able to deal with the occasion.
You mentioned that Dundalk are playing Derry City first semi-final on Sunday 1:55. Dundalk are trying to do what Shamrock Rovers did in the mid-80s, is to win league and cups back to back. You know how difficult that is. It hasn't been done for over 30 years. They've also got the European element of their season. Have they surprised you with how they've sustained an attack on 3 fronts?
They have. I think when you're playing that level of football, and every game is so important. It is draining physically, but mentally as well. And like you say, their European campaign has been so good, but every game they've been playing in that campaign has been really intense. And they've kept that going. Stephen has brought in a few players recently to sort of bolster the squad and give them a bit more strength and depth. But they've probably relied on a lot of the same players all the time, But one thing that Dundalk have managed over a number of years, they seem to be injury free. They don't seem to pick up loads of injuries, which is brilliant when you're going into games like that. Like I said, they've now introduced a few new players that should help them. They're battling every front now, but it's difficult to come in on the back of a European game on the tours and then into a cup semi-final on Sunday. That's going to be difficult if the players up again. I know it is a semi-final, but it's a massive occasion for them to be playing in Europe, and then to go back into a semi-final. But like I say, they have that goal at the end of it that we're getting to another cup final.
Is there a fear of battle fatigue now? They've played they got around 40 competitive games there. Is there could they turn up on Sunday, leg weary from Thursday night? Could the whole thing catch up on them?
Of course, I think you've seen them maybe last week when they played Shamrock Rovers midweek. They looked a little bit leggy in the game, but then they bounced back on Friday again and were fantastic against Derry. By all accounts, I didn't see the game, but I heard they were very, very good. So look, they're used to playing big games now. They just seem to roll on all the time. Stephen has plenty of experience in that, and I'm sure he will change the team as he sees fit. Not true, maybe tactically. They seem to have a lot, maybe 16, 17 players that can play in the team without really weakening it. But it'll be his eye that will see, and the fitness people there that will see maybe 1 or 2 that might need changing come Sunday.
Stephen O'Donnell, I think, comes back in for Sunday. I think he's available. He's been a talisman for them. Another Kenny Shields, is working very quietly at Derry City. Away from home, they've been outstanding in the cup. You've probably seen they've gone to Drogheda, they've gone to Bowes, they've gone to Wexford. They haven't quite got the measure of Derry yet this season in the league. They've lost 5-0 and they lost 3-1 most recently. But I think would you see them causing? They're capable of causing any team, including Dundalk, problems.
Yeah, they are. Like you said, I think the game up in the Brandywell, they lost a player early in the game and Dundalk strolled it. The game last week, I think, was a fairly competitive game and a decent game, and by all accounts both teams played well, not just Dundalk. And Kenny's done a fantastic job at Derry, where you think where they were when he came to the start of the season. Not a lot of time to work, got to get a squad together. Poor season the season before, and to have them challenging on that European front as well, to get to Europe this year and be in the semi-final of the cup. They're well equipped to give Dundalk a game. Whether they've got enough to beat them or just, I think they've drawn 7 of their last 10 games, which is probably not a bad thing going into an away semi-final. But the concern for me with Derry is probably the amount of goals they've conceded. Conceded 5 in the last 2 games. They'll be disappointed with that. They haven't really had a back four steadily picked every week. I'm talking about Dundalk have a back four is rigid and very, very good. My concern with Derry going into the game is maybe defensively. I think they've got a lot going forward, a lot of talented players at the top end of the pitch. Defensively, I think they've got some things to work with.
Where do you see it being won and lost?
Well, I think the game for Dundalk in Europe and what it takes out of the players is going to be massive, like we spoke about. But if you look at Dundalk, and again, that back four they have and the goalkeeper are very solid. But in the key areas for me, the likes of Horgan, McElhenney, Finn, Macmillan is scoring a lot of goals. I think Dundalk maybe just have a bit more firepower than Derry. And I think that will tell in the end. I think Dundalk will come through in a tight game.
No replay required?
I don't think so, no. I think the last thing Dundalk will want is a replay. But I seen Dundalk's last game against UCD, and it looked like it maybe was going to replay, but they just ground them down. But I think this will be a little bit more open. I think Derry will come and have a go at Dundalk, which will probably suit Dundalk a little bit.
The other semi-final involving St Pat's club that when you and I first spoke many years ago, it was nearly 30 years ago when you were playing for Pat's, playing Cork City. Pats have been exceptional, and they finally got the FAI Cup sort of bogey off the back. They won it. They've been trying to do it for years. They're on the brink of another final. They've been very inconsistent this season. Their league form has been pretty awful, but in the cups, they've beaten Dundalk and won the League Cup. They've beaten Shamrock Rovers in the FAI Cup semi-final. Which Pats are we going to see on Sunday?
Yeah, I think I did a game with the League Cup final against Limerick, and I think the game sort of summed up Pat's season. First half weren't at the races, weren't anywhere near it. Limerick probably should have been maybe 2 up going in at half time, and the second half completely different, and that's the way their season's been. I thought they were excellent in the second half, really got about Limerick and steamrolled them in the end to go and win the game. But I'm sure that as a manager, Liam is looking at and thinking what team's going to turn up on Sunday. But semi-final cup, home tie, you would think the Pats team, Pats have got some good players. When they click, they're capable of beating anybody in the league. That's going to be a real tight game, I think. And again, key players in the game.
Fagan, for example.
He's massive for St Pat's. I think when Chrissy's not on the team, they don't have that cutting edge that they have. His link play is excellent. His goal scoring ratio is fantastic. And he leads the line. For the way Pats want to play is to get a ball into Chrissy and get people moving off him, and then any chances that come away around, he's normally in the box, and puts them away. So I think he is critical for Pats to win the game, that Christie plays to his potential.
Cork City are probably most neutrals, probably second favourite team at the moment, because they've been knocking on the door the last couple of years on the John Caulfield. They pushed Dundalk so close last year. They really need a trophy. They probably, if they don't, my fear would be if they don't get one, what will happen? Could this be their year to finally get a bit of silverware for their, to justify how far they've come the last couple of years?
You would hope so. I think, in fairness to John, he's come up against a fantastic Dundalk team. Probably reminds me going back to the Rovers team that you were talking about earlier, that won the 4 in a row, the 3 cups. Bows had a fantastic team in them days as well, but they just couldn't get a better Rovers, and then ended up poaching most of their players. But I think Cork should be given a lot of credit, particularly this year from John, because I think he realised that they were a little bit short last season. They ran Dundalk all the way in both competitions, lost the cup final, lost it late in the league as well, and are pushing him again this year in the semi-final cup again. So I think he deserves a lot of credit. I think people speak about he don't win something. I don't agree with that. I think what he's trying to do is build a team there. He's come up against a real good Dundalk side at the moment, which have to be given credit as well. But I think for his own sake, and probably for the supporters, they'd like to win a trophy. And with Dundalk being involved in everything that they're involved in with Europe, they mightn't get a better chance to maybe catch them on an off day if they do get them in a cup final or in that league run in. But I think the cup may be the best chance to get silverware this year.
Does it help Kenny Brown and Greg Bulger played for Pats, won the cup, and now with Cork? Does that matter, the inside information they may be able to pass on?
No, I don't think so. I think managers do so much homework themselves now. People know how Cork play, people know how Pats play. They'll know each other so well. I think what will help with the likes of Kenny Brown and Greg Bulger, I'm sure Pats would prefer them to be in their team than in the Cork team, because they're 2 very good players that Pats have found difficult to replace. And for me, Bulger is probably one of the best midfielders in the league, and again, a bit like Christie, he needs to play to keep Cork going. And again, Maguire is the one that's on fire for them at the moment, scoring goals to beat the band. So it could be a game of the 2 strikers. You would think, I don't think there'll be loads of chances in that game, but both teams have strikers who are capable of winning the game for them.
And your call?
I think that one might end up in a replay. I think that might, and probably Cork don't need a replay neither, but I think Richmond Park is tight, it'll be compact, should be a great crowd, good atmosphere, so, but I'd see that one maybe going to replay, and Cork maybe nicking it in replay.
So that's Pat Fenlon's call for the FAI Cup final this year, sponsored by the Irish Daily Mail. He's calling Dundalk against Cork City in the final. Where have we heard that before?